Greetings and welcome to the Rock and Roll podcast. Check out this record. My name is Mark, and with me, as always, is the man, the Martian. The ladies call him the Natural. It's Frankie D.
Hello, everyone, or should I say, Ba Weep Grana, Weep Ninny Bong.
Sure. Welcome to check out this record. We're available, as you may know, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever, B-level podcasts can be found.
That's
Heck,
right.
We might even be a C-level, and we're also on the tube of you, my friend.
I'll take C or B, to be honest with you. And that's right. New episodes drop directly to your ears every Friday. And we're going to rip and shred and tear up what you call sacred for your listening pleasures.
Yeah, this week we're tearing up one of mine. So for the uninitiated, welcome. Here on Check Out This Record, Frank and I find records for each other to go through track by track and tell you what we really think about them. But that's not all. Oh, nay. We also have a wide array of musical discussions, like in our Spotlight series, where we'll dig into a band's catalog, like a couple of grave robbers, and tell you what's worth a damn and what is just, poo-poo.
That's right. Or we're going to take in our Versus series, we pit two albums against each other, and they go ahead and they get in the fisticuffs and they duke it out for total stereo domination.
That's right. Now, if social media is your Jimmy Jam, be sure to check us out on the Instagram and the Fart Book, where we have a group thingamajig so that roasting of musical sacred cows never has to end. Now, go ahead and mark yourself safe from shitty music by giving us a like or a follow or whatever it is you do when you're not learning how to use a salt shaker on TikTok. What are you, idiots?
Oh my God. Is that really what's going on nowadays?
They even have a commercial for it, dude. It's like, you people are dumb as dog shit.
Yikes. So listen, guys, so push that aside and don't forget to pop on over to the tube of the U and watch us make these exact faces right now in this moment. And as we put the show together, tape to reel, all that good stuff, fire off a click and the old subscribe button. And we appreciate all the listeners.
That's right. Frank, we're going to Mars via Detroit as we dive into Marc and the Mysterians 1966 breakout album, 96 Tears. Initially active between 1962 and 1969, much of the band consists of electric organ-driven garage rock and an enigmatic image inspired by the 1957 Japanese science fiction film, The Mysterians. In addition, the band sounds was also marked by a raw, resonating lead vocals of Marc, the stage name of Rudy Martinez, making Marc and the Mysterians one of the earliest groups whose musical style was described as punk rock. Like many bands from this period, there's clearly a lot of influence from the blues, the rock acts of the 50s, the current British invasion that was happening at the time. We're talking our Beatles, our Rolling Stones, Frank. But one of the big things that sets Marc and the Mysterians apart is from being from that Detroit area. A lot of the bands, when we think of this era, are from California. These guys are from the Detroit Rock City, especially in the mid-60s when Motown was peaking. Frank, lead singer Rudy Martinez, aka Marc, stated publicly that his soul had originated from Mars and that he had once walked the earth with the dinosaurs. Would you like to make any claims any wilder than that?
I mean, listen, once I had a recurring dream that I was an extra on the show Charles in Charge, and the producers wouldn't tell me which family this was, because there was there was the first family, and then there was the next, after the show came back from syndication, there's the other family, and therefore I didn't know how to act, and I'm wondering if that counts.
Sure.
It was a messed up dream, dude.
I bet it was. I mean, living in pure terror. I can't imagine. You don't know who's coming out of the door. Back to Marc. So the band members were children of migrant farmers who settled in Michigan. The original trio consisting of, I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to screw up a lot of these names. Larry Borjas on guitar, Robert Martinez on drums. I don't know why that one seems so hard in my head. Bobby Boldorama on lead guitar, really cool name there. The trio recruited Rudy for vocals and keyboard player Frankie Rodriguez. Larry Bojas and Robert Martinez would receive draft notices and opt into enlisting to avoid being sent to Vietnam, Frank. The remaining members continued with Rodriguez's improv on the organ riffs, and Question Mark introduced a composition he had been developing for a while in his head, really starting to bring the band's sound together. Auditioning for a replacement drummer resulted in Eddie Serrano, originally trained for traditional Mexican music, Frank. And on March 13th, 1966, Question Mark and the Mysterians recorded 96 Teardrops, along with Midnight Hour, for the small Pagogo label with Fernando Aguilar, a bassist who would soon replace Lagaro. With that taking off, the band was able to record their album, 96 Tears. So, Frank, it's quite the backstory, huh? You ready to cry? Cry?
Yeah, as ready as when my wife watches Terms of Endearment.
There you have it. Track 1, I Need Somebody. Opening up the record with a nice upbeat pop number, Looking for Love, and with a dash of Mary Had a Little Lamb thrown in. Frank, does putting in a riff from a kid's song add or detract what would otherwise be a pretty straightforward, kind of fun pop tune?
Yeah, I actually think they did a good job of incorporating this in a very seamless manner. I think it's an introductory piece to someone who's never heard them before. It gives that comfortable feeling. So it's a good upfront and short pop tune of the time, even if you take away the Mary Had a Little Lamb.
I agree. Track 2, Stormy Monday, a little Motown rhythm and blues in the second slot here, Frank. I guess people have always hated the work week. It's not just you and me. Frank, we get a pretty laid back but clean guitar solo. I think I would have liked for the tempo to have changed at some point when we get to the weekend, maybe, or for the solo. What about you? What'd you think?
This is like classic 50s rock before rockabilly kind of almost got a hold of it and amplified it, because I do think that rockabilly is like a little bit more of an amplified version of the initial incarnation of rock. But to your point, yes, the change would have been nice. But I don't know if that was also happening a lot at this time too.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. Track 3. You're telling me lies, Frank.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I can't back that up. This one's got a bit of an odd tempo to me. Not that they're doing anything strange with it. It's just a bit too mellow for what feels like it should have been an upbeat pop tune. Really kind of throwing me off a bit. Frank, am I telling lies?
So I had to listen to this one a few times to see what you were referring to. And about the third time in, then I caught what you were saying. And I think it's the verses and the positioning of that with the tempo. Because then that's where I heard it as well. I think some oomph could have been used with the song, because it just kind of drags on a tad.
All right. Track 4, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
You wouldn't think 10 o'clock would be too late for a guy this young, but apparently it is. It would appear at least that Question Mark's lady didn't show up on time, and he's erasing her from the book and replacing her. The tempo has picked up a little bit, but not as much as I would like. Frank, is it too late?
It's classic rock and roll chords here, and it's not uncommon for bands to stick to a formula here, and I think that's what's happening. This is 66. 65, the Beatles would put out Rubber Soul, and that explored a lot of unique territory, but not all bands are that as well. I think a change would have been welcomed here, but I think we find that there was a lot of bands that were formulaic at this time too.
Track 5, Set Aside. Heavy on the blues riff here, an instrumental number. Frank Rodriguez showcasing his keyboard skills. It's cool enough, but I'm really wanting that garage surf rock and roll feel, and short of the I Need Somebody, I'm not feeling that. So Frank, Are you still with me, or have you set me aside?
I'll never set you aside, my
Oh,
friend.
thanks, buddy.
I dig a good instrumental. It seems like a little safe on the lounge music side to me. You mentioned garage and surf and rock. When you see a band name like this, I'm thinking a lot of space influences, right? Sci-fi influences,
Mhm.
that definite surf feel, because they could all blend together very nicely, and didn't really get a lot of that. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Track 6, Upside.
Oh,
The intro here feels like a little like everyone needed a few measures to remember their parts for the song. But by the time the drums come in and the tempo is grooving, it works out. I'm finally getting some of that good old rock and roll. It's your classic gotta love number from the mid 60s, but it's working for me in a way that the rest of the album hasn't caught up to yet. Is this the upside so far for you, Frank?
I do like the song structure here. Really cool stuff. What throws me off on these songs is the reliance on the keyboards. I know
Yep.
bands did that a lot back in the day. But that's also too why I'm not the biggest Doors fan, is because of that heavy reliance on the keyboards. The guitar work though is really cool on this song.
Yeah. Track 7, 18. That's 8 in quotations and then the word teen. We're getting a really nice foot stomping tune here. I was a little worried lyrically I'd read into this one and there'd be some like really creepy lines about how a girl was into was quote unquote 18. But it's just another got lots of love to give tune. So that's a small bit of relief. I was worried this one would be pretty problematic. Frank, you are over 18, right?
Yes. Well, yes, sir, I am.
Okay.
This one was an improvement for me, and the foot stomping effect definitely would help, because prior to that I wasn't doing a lot of the foot stomping, so that definitely helped.
It was nice to feel a good bit of rock and roll here.
Yeah.
Track 8, Don't Tease Me.
Oh.
Frank Rodriguez's keyboard intro leads us into a fun little bopping pop tune. I hate to say this, but the generic love concept of all these tunes is starting to shine a little light on why these guys never had another real hit. You picking that up, Frank?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said that before I did, brother, because it's your pick. But we are getting into the generic territory here for sure.
Yeah, I think that's probably a sign of the times, right? Especially,
yes.
Well, we'll get into it. Track 9, Don't Break My Heart. Wouldn't you know, another song about love. Okay, lyrically, everything I said about the last few tracks applies yet again, but at least we have the tempo pumped up and they're grooving. I see where some people could cite them as proto-punk with a tempo like this and that. Frank, are you breaking my heart?
I'm sure I have at one point, brother. So I do apologize. Yes, if amplified up, then you would get proto-punk. We're not quite full on proto-punk, but the foundation, I can see some underlining foundation there. Absolutely.
Track 10, I ask it all the time. Why me? Back to that Motown here stylistically. That said, this song is annoying as hell to me. All his crying, why me, why me? And it doesn't really end. It just kind of fades out. Like kind of a half a song. Frank, why me?
I think it's because we're just a couple of nice guys, dude. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Nice
we're
guys
just nice.
Last.
Yeah, man. People like to take advantage of us. This song's annoying, and honestly, it feels like a rehash of stuff heard earlier on the record without the "why me" repetition. So yeah, this was a toughie.
Track 11, Midnight Hour. This one is a story about a girl who lives on a railroad tracks. And she's his. I think question mark is dating a homeless girl. Good for you, question mark. Good for you. Anyways, they stay up to the midnight hour, going round and round, if you know what question mark means. It's kind of weird though, because 10 o'clock was too late. I guess she got there at like 9:45. I don't know. I don't think this dude can make up his mind. Can you, Frank?
Oh man, listen, nothing like a good train and the tracks it rides on, but I'm confused with the intent of this song. There's a weird nature to it, but it doesn't have a clear path and plan for me. So
yeah. track 12, 96 Tears.
Oh,
Well, it's the title track, the closer, and the band's biggest hit. It's got that upbeat 50s tempo going on. It's one of the 60s tempo going on, excuse me. It's one of the only songs with an actual change to it on the album. And of course, that signature keyboard riff. It kind of feels like it's totally different band here. I don't know where this band was on the rest of the record.
right.
Structurally and sonically, it's easily the best written and played song on the album. And supposedly they wrote and recorded it in the same day. Frank,
Wow. Yeah.
talk to me.
Yeah, this song is what I thought the album would be more of, because I knew this song. It's a really well-written, upbeat tempo song with a catchy hook. It's a really good tune, and I wish there was more of them.
Yeah. Well, good buddy. That's get out your handkerchief, wipe away those 96 teardrops, and give us your final thoughts, because that's the end of the album.
All right. So when you unveiled your pick to me last episode, I was amped because I wanted to explore this band more.
Yeah.
I was familiar with 96 Tears, and I assured the rest of the album would reflect that. However, that's not what we get at all. What we got is an album of the times that sounds really kind of dated and straight from that period, which isn't a bad thing if you don't have 80% of an album, though, that sounds the same. Most songs just seem like recycled rehashes of the previous ones. The thing is that this band can totally play, but I think more direction and intent was needed. The safeness of these tunes really adds to the repetition. What they seem to me is like Murph and the Magic Tones, but they really needed the Blues Brothers to give them that extra edge and push, as I said earlier. It's fun background music to listen to at a party or something, but it's not something that you're going to listen to. And if you're expecting them to be amazed by everything, the album's going to fall flat. So I give it a 3.5 out of 10.
Ooh, okay. Hey, that's what I appreciate. Frank didn't pull any punches with me. It's an album I picked from, and he gave me a real answer. So question mark in the Mysterians certainly left me with more questions than answers on this one, Frank. I have this album, and it's one that gets put on in the background music department, and it works really well in that aspect when you're not paying attention, and there's just kind of a vibe going on. You don't have to pay too much attention to it. Don't worry about paying attention to it, because 85% of this album, as Frank said, it is totally interchangeable.
Totally.
That said, I need somebody short of the Mary Had a Little Lamb riff for me, and 96 Tears are the only tracks that will likely have most listeners returning for a specific song. I think part of the issue here is that while they had the benefit of being so close to Motown and all that influence, I don't think they had access to a quality producer for this style of music to help shape the sound of the band as they put the album together. And they got lucky, as they say, catching lightning in a bottle with 96 Tears.
Yeah.
After an ego boost like that, it's not surprising that the band wouldn't last in its original form for more than much longer and broke up after just the next album.
Yeah.
This gets a 4.5 out of 10 for me, because that hit does carry a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Like I said, I own it.
Yeah.
Because I love a sad song like 96 Tears, and I really dig Set Aside, but that's off a blues album that has nothing to do with the rest of this record, honestly.
Yeah.
Frank.
Yes, sir.
What's on deck for next week?
All right, my friend. So me and you are going to take a rocket.
You and I?
Yes, we're going to take a rocket
from
the crypt.
Rocket from the Crypt?
Yeah, we're going to do some Rocket from the Crypt. And the album I want to focus on is 1995's Scream, Dracula, Scream.
Ooh.
Perhaps the band's biggest and most successful record.
Okay.
Those who follow us, the two people who follow us, should I say, will know that, the frontman of this band derived from Drive Like Jehu. So
that's right.
Those pieces together. But this is a whole different entity. This is not like Drive Like Jehu at all. This is a different style of band. So I would love your thoughts on this record. It's one I'm listening to more of too. So it's not one I'm overly familiar with.
Okay.
the drummer is the current drummer now of Against Me. So I mean,
Oh,
there's some people in there. There's some people in
cool.
there. So yeah, Rocket from the Crypt, Scream, Dracula, Scream.
Now that is a record I am looking forward to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. Remember, like, subscribe, rate, review. Be safe out there.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for sticking around and making it to the end of this show. Be a sport and say it with me, but under your breath like you're calling your boss a dingleberry. Oh my. Oh hell yes. Oh, bye. What'd you say? Nothing. I really like that. That outfit you got on there today. Is that
I think most today think dingleberries are actual berries, as in the fruit.
Are dingleberries actual fruit? I thought that was. Are those the ones that come from your butt? Are those the ones under your balls? I don't know.
The brown colored ones.
Oh.